Welcome everybody. The group stage weekend is finally coming to a close for the World Cup 2025. We only have one match remaining, that being a very important match for the group that this is a part of, Ukraine versus Peru. Both of these teams are in, I believe, Group G. And there's a lot of varieties. There's a lot of ways this match can go. If Ukraine 5-0s, if they sweep Peru here, they will progress to the round of 16 in the losers bracket, as Kazakhstan has already done so far in their group, as they 3-0'd everybody. If Peru wins this, they will go and progress to the round of 16 losers bracket. If Ukraine wins any other scoreline besides 5-0, Portugal will go through. So literally any of the three teams remaining that aren't Kazakhstan in this group can get to the next stage in the tournament, which I think is honestly crazy. There's a lot on the line for any of these teams. I'm Fiery Rage. Doland is taking a phone call, so he can't be here at the moment, but I'm also joined by Sparky Mania Caster. How's it going, Sparky?
It's going absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna be real. Many years ago when I started doing this, never thought I'd find myself in this position. So first of all, thank y'all for letting me get a shot at being the outside perspective of the group stage for the World Cup here. So looks like we're already well underway with the ban proceedings here, and some pretty interesting ones too, right off the rip here from both teams.
I think Peru's ban is, or Ukraine's ban rather, is pretty expected. Nomad 3, that's the hardcore reading pick. They have to leave one of the hardcore reading picks open, opt to choose Hidden 2 out of that. I think either Nomad 3 or Hidden 2 was pretty much an expected ban, so I'm not horribly surprised to see that. DT2, I think also makes sense. Ukraine has a pretty decent speed team. They're very much competent on that, and Peru is pretty lacking in terms of speed outside of the obvious Arnold 24x24, who can just FC any speed map that you put on him, basically. But yeah, getting into the pick already. Nomad 5. Now this one is an interesting pick, because I don't take either of these teams to necessarily be precision-oriented, and they're picking into the most precision-oriented map in the pool, CS 7.4.
Yeah, I took a gander at this map pool before diving in here, and I mean, just seeing how different this played in comparison to some of the other Nomad picks in this pool, and seeing how players performed on it in the previous match leading up to this. I mean, it is a bit of a curveball. Maybe just wanting to get some of the spicier picks out of the way first. Maybe just not wanting to have this like dropped on them by the Ukraine as the match progresses, so maybe just want to get out of the way early, a chance to kind of settle in maybe before getting into maybe the more normal picks that we would maybe expect Peru to go into later on down the line.
Hopefully I still remember the Ukrainian roster's names. I believe Artyom coming in for the side of Ukraine. Gonna most likely see a lot of the mainstay players on the Ukrainian roster for this. I imagine we'll be seeing... I am mind blanking right now. Oh my god, that's the worst time to mind blank.
Being put on the spot is a bit of a hard one, especially with so many names to keep track of. I don't know how you guys do it, keeping track of 8 players.
Dench was the name I was trying to think of.
There we go. Got there in the end.
Yeah, Dench, very well known for being probably the best tournament player in Ukraine at the moment. Or best player in general, honestly. Roman, Artyom, and Crimea to round out the roster here. Arnold coming in for the side of Peru, obviously the standout player on the Peruvian roster. By far one of the best performers in qualifiers, despite the Peruvian seed being number 39. He is, I think, top 20 in terms of qualifier performances, which is honestly kind of crazy. McGee XD, Sape, and Pra going to be rounding it out. We'll be getting into the first map of the match.
Alright, very excited to see how these two teams perform. I feel like this will really set the stage for the overall performance. If Peru can really knock this one out of the park, maybe gives them a really big boost in confidence moving forward. And I mean, you laid it out as we got into this, a lot on the line for these two teams. And Portugal also watching this with bated breath to see if maybe they can sneak in by doing nothing on the last match of this weekend. As we get things started, Dench and Crimea finding the opening drops. Artem gonna follow as well as Peru sneak out to about a 12,000 point lead through the introduction alone.
Yeah, it's a very hard map to get accustomed to, so I'm not too surprised to see a lot of early breaks for a map like this. If you haven't been playing Precision, you will get caught off guard pretty easily here. So breaks across the board. Outside of Peru, they've been holding pretty strong 3 FCs at the moment that make that too. Of course, as soon as I mention it. Which does favor Ukraine.
Yeah, some trades back, but still holding on to the advantage, especially with the fact that the only person with really any combo to speak of are Roma and Dench for the Ukrainians, but Peru having the 2 very strong FCs in Arnold and Pra, as more and more misses coming through from the Ukrainian side with half the map left to go here, extending this lead. One of those big FCs dropping from Peru, gonna put a little bit of a damper on it, but the lead still climbing in their favor with the map left to go here. Ooh, there goes Dench, yeah.
It's literally just Roman versus Arnold at the moment. If one of these... Oh my god, goodbye Arnold. Roman with the clutch combo. He's the only combo remaining, though, and he drops. It's not going to be enough. And I think that...
combo reset.
That alone, I think, just eliminates Ukraine right off the bat from getting into round of 16, unfortunately.
Yeah, Peru getting this point. Like you mentioned, Ukraine needing to 5-0 to have a chance of getting in here, so... I mean, they can still win this match and sneak Portugal in there if they manage to sneak it out at the end, but a 400,000 point gap as the last sliver of chart begins to come through here. Peru looking very strong on this first pick. At the end of the day, 541,000 points to get that first point on the board.
Very unfortunate slider break from Arnold, the only S rank in the lobby, but yeah, that was a very solid team performance overall from Peru. No one really below 500k. McGee is slightly below that, but not by a large margin. So that was just a well-rounded pick from Peru. Unfortunately, that's going to be saying goodbye to Ukraine, but they still have something to play for. They don't want the team that eliminated them to go further. So if they win this match, they'll have that. Portugal will still progress, and Peru will be eliminated. So they still have the potential to eliminate who they're playing against, even if they don't make it into the tournament. And they're just going to be going straight on to Nomad 2. I don't think this is horribly surprising. They have a fairly decent speed roster, and we saw them ban DT2 Peru, so... This is pretty much the only remaining speed map. Might as well just go for it.
Yeah, for sure. So, can't wait to see how the mix-ups on the rosters comes through here, and after a tiny bit of a delay, I think we can finally welcome back in Dolan. How's it going, man?
Hello. Yes, I was fighting Discord. But I have won the battle, and unfortunately Ukraine's been eliminated, I see, in the meantime. But like you said, we could go for some mutually assured destruction here.
Yeah, so gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. And I mean, if nothing else, personal pride, always a thing to play for. You wanna, if you're gonna go out, you wanna still go out swinging at the end of the day. So as we wait for everybody to kind of ready up, I'm gonna get on into the second map of this best of 9. Ukraine trying to notch this one up. Peru looking to try and get an early breakpoint in this match.
This has been a very popular pick for teams to go for. I think this has been played in pretty much every match I've seen so far. It probably hasn't been played in every match, but every match that I've personally seen, it has been played. Even in terms of this group, Ukraine has played this both the times that they have played Kazakhstan and Portugal. So they're well-versed with this map. Roman and Dench, very well-versed in this. Definitely going to be standout players, I think, for the Ukrainian side. So we get into the map. Early misses from a lot of different players. No one loves Iki and Foka all missing in the beginning, as well as Sape and Crimea. But those are relatively early misses.
All the Arnold and Poma holding the full combos. A lot of supporting combo on the board as Crimea falls. It's going to out Peru out and throw that score lead nearing 60,000.
And all we continue to, there's a map left to go here. Everybody kind of settling in, no more major breaks as we continue on into this next section. But Peru is still holding on to a pretty massive cushion here in the grand scheme of things. 90,000 points and climbing just by virtue of the fact that they have 4 really strong combos and the 1 FC on their side to hold off any advances from the Ukrainians as we continue on into the back half of the chart. Double miss!
Traded by Crimea, but Foka also going down.
That's a very, very slight combo advantage in favor of Ukraine, as we see them break there. Oh my god, what did No One Loves miss on?
The double miss from No One Loves and Crimea at the same time. The same slider catching them both out. Maybe just not expecting the slowness of that one. I mean, having played it for as many times as they have so far in the last 2 weeks, it's understandable. But Foka and Icky trading the misses back, and now the lead is starting to look a little bit in danger. 34,000 points now. Ukraine making an advance here as we continue on.
Yeah, it's not a little bit in danger. It is very much in danger. As another miss comes out, the lead will shift. Despite a certain brilliant score being put up by a certain player that I do not want to jinx, but both FTs still hold intact. Dench putting up an amazing reverse choke here to further solidify this one for Ukraine. 2.73 the final score.
And this is kind of what I was expecting going into this match on some of these picks, I'm not gonna lie. Arnold versus everyone else in the lobby. Roman with an awesome FC as well. Dench with a solid supporting combo. Just unfortunate slider break at the end. But yeah, Arnold, SS. Yep.
What more can you ask for? I mean, a perfect performance, unrewarded there at the end. Just didn't have the supporting scores to keep the lead on their side. And I mean, it's wild seeing score swings that massive. I'm not used to... I'm not used to seeing stuff like that.
Yeah, because maybe it has the different scoring system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, coming from very much where accuracy is king.
Yep.
I believe in Mania, it is just a 400 combo cap.
Yep, 400. And then I'm surprised I haven't made any references to accuracy so far in this match. That's usually my bread and butter when getting into intense moments like that. But wow, what a swing. Ukraine managing to notch things up, avoid giving away that break point. And as we move on to our next pick, it's going to be Nomad 4 here.
Bit of an interesting pick for them to opt for, but Ukraine has played this once, played it against Kazakhstan, lost that, do a double FC to Kamenchik and Turnifus, but they still had pretty decent scores overall. Roman and No One Loves with 700k plus, and supporting scores were all above 500k as well, so more than able to play this. And I imagine, I don't think Dench was around when they were playing Kazakhstan, so I imagine Dench would also be in for this and do pretty decently.
Yeah, right now just waiting on the final players from both teams. Maybe just in the last second substitutions. Gotta get everybody in the right spots here. Looks like Sabe coming back in. You're gonna see Kotsik for Peru and Ballmer and Epema. Not used to seeing these rosters, so I mean, I'm gonna get blindsided seeing people swap all over the place here.
Doesn't seem like Dench is actually going to be coming in for this. They'll be running the same roster that I believe they ran. No One Loves actually. Oh no, Kotsik is I think Peru, if I'm remembering the teams correctly. Still waiting on. I like how I started talking and then I just silenced all three of you at the exact same time as I did that. That's nuts. I think Kotsik is on the Ukrainian roster, so I guess I was just misremembering. So that's actually going to be a swap. You're going to have No One Loves, who got 700k bench on this for Kotsik. Probably feeling more hot on the day. We'll see how that plays out for them as we get into the tech-oriented pick in Nomad Pool, Nomad 4. Lots of sliders. We love sliders.
Here we go. Roster set. Client locked in.
Hopefully.
Nope.
You don't want to jinx the client being, you know.
What do you mean? We love the client here. So as we get this one started, I mean, it's going to be players jockeying for position. I imagine the accuracy is going to be all over the place. I mean, with these more slider-oriented maps, I feel like I've seen the most diversity in terms of full combo runs, just having numbers all over the place. But right now, it's going to be a bit of a tug-of-war through this introduction. As we continue on, everybody managing to get through this relatively unscathed as things stand.
Yeah, it's just the act difference from both of these teams. Right now we have two players on either side having pretty low accuracies. Meanwhile, Bonner and Roman holding on to the highest accuracies in the lobby, 97% and above. But it's still going to be in favor of Peru. No misses from anyone yet, which I think is honestly kind of surprising at this stage.
Yeah. And now this is just building up like a pressure cooker here. The first miss that comes out is going to be absolutely devastating, especially with the score being this close. 2,300 points separating these two teams at the break halfway through. And now we're going to see who can perform with the pressure on.
Yeah, they're going to see that everyone has the FC. This is quite literally one of the worst situations you find yourself in as a player in a tournament match. If you see everyone has the FC, you do not want to be the first one to miss. So that puts a lot of pressure on you as a player. That's why there's not really that many 8-way FCs. Pressure gets to a lot of players in different ways, but for right now, no issues whatsoever. It's just the act difference that's carrying Peru at the moment. Never mind, as soon as I say that, Bonner misses.
Yeah, down goes Ballner, and you see, you guys were saying, pressure cooker situation, lead immediately skyrockets in favor of Peru, 90,000 and climbing. The fact that it's still a 4-way FC on their side, plenty of free time to really expand this lead. Kotsik goes down as well. Gonna go from bad to worse for the Ukrainians as Peru still hanging on with Kotsik finding another break with a tiny sliver of map left to go. I mean, I've seen weirder things, but this is looking pretty commanding from this position.
It's just how quickly things change in that situation. And even though a miss does come out here at the end for Peru, it is far too late to save Ukraine from a massive score deficit.
Yeah, so I might have forgotten to mention that Peru also 4-wayed this in their first match against Kazakhstan. So having 3 FCs and almost another 4-way is honestly kind of ridiculous. That is unparalleled team consistency overall. And obviously a very good pick for them. They are very confident on that, so not really any complaints there. Getting some of the points that they know that they can at least guarantee that they win out of the way. Now they get into a bit more dicey territory, though. Ukraine to pick second.
Yeah, and then, I mean, in terms of pick dichotomy, it's very different from my world over to y'all's, but, I mean, you guys can probably guide me through this. We don't even get a chance to do so.
What in the world is this pick?
HD2 pick.
What in the world is this pick?
Fiery, for some reason in both of our matches today, this has happened. A random, out of nowhere, hidden 2 pick.
Okay. I want to vibe with this pick, but you're picking low AR into Arnold. You're guaranteeing him an FC. Like, he's not going to miss on this. If he misses on this, that would be a bad run for him. Like, at any point. And that's what concerns me. Like, these types of low AR maps, if you can guarantee a very high level of team consistency, I think you can counter that FC, but if you cannot do that and you're relying on one player to match Arnold, I think you're going to lose this. And I don't know if Ukraine necessarily has the roster to compete with just Arnold alone on this.
Do you guys think it's maybe just trying to play the spread here, where the overall balanced team score of Ukraine can outweigh the performance of Arnold in this instance? Or do you guys just feel like this is like a Hail Mary that's going to end up going into the benches?
I mean, I think they can compete. I mean, In terms of qualifier placements, this is literally as neck and neck as you can get. Hidden 2 in qualifiers. Ukraine was number 28th overall with 1.28 million. Peru was number 29th overall with 1.26 million. So it literally is on a razor's edge.
And Ukraine's already been eliminated, so they have nothing else to lose now at this point.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. When there's nothing on the line, I mean, maybe they just find some level of enjoyment with the chart. I always like to say that whenever there's oddball picks in either 4 key or 7 key, it's like maybe they just jive with it. Like maybe they just like the song. Something.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Fairly interesting pick. We'll see if it plays out. Like I said, I do think this is very much an Arnold kind of 1v the world situation. If Arnold doesn't do well on this, then this is an awesome pick for Ukraine. Because if they can get a run where Arnold doesn't FC this or do super well on it, they can definitely take this point. I see that at the very least.
Already off to a pretty shaky start in the grand scheme of things. 3 misses to 2 from Peru, and Peru gonna take the early advantage of a couple more trades here. Daldor and Migis gonna be the only 2 finding any major drops from the Peruvians, and already pretty nervy starts from the Ukrainians as things stand, gonna help extend the lead here. So right out of the gate, not working out in Ukraine's favor, but still plenty of map left to go here, but already bleeding over 100,000 points through this introduction. Arnold finding a miss.
I don't think that miss is really going to matter that much. Sape is doing really good with supporting combo right now. Roman has recovered nicely as well as Dench, but they're going to need a lot more, and that just does not matter anymore as everyone misses besides Sape. And this lead is going to just keep ballooning. Unfortunately, I just don't think Crimea can play this that well. Probably not.
You know it's a good sign when the cursor smoke comes out.
Sape does miss at the very end, so
as we continue on here, 300,000 points, the advantage for the Peruvians. Pretty solid lead over the Ukrainians as things stand. Arnold recovering very nicely. The only person with a major, actually highest combo in the lobby, with a third of the map left to go here.
This is just the Arnold show at the moment.
Yeah, on we continue. Migus and Daldor are going to find some drops, but I feel like they have just enough of a cushion. Dench and Poma trading it back, Arnold finding it another one, but I mean, this feels insurmountable from this position here.
Yeah, thankfully it was likely going to be Peru's point.
Yeah, it's going to be Peru's point anyway. Arnold and Sape are doing very well on this, and Ukraine isn't doing necessarily that bad either. I mean, they have 300Ks across the board. They're doing a lot better than Daldor. If they had a 4th man on this, I think it would have been pretty good for them, honestly. Like, Arnold got a run where he wasn't doing necessarily the greatest, but Sape is there to help support him at the very least. Not entirely a 1 versus the world scenario. But yeah, that's a very solid break point for Peru. They're going to be up 3-1 now.
Yeah, and then from this position, I mean, Peru, what options do they have? I mean, you get this breakpoint in the back pocket. Do you go for anything riskier here, something that you maybe wouldn't expect them to, or do they kind of just stick with what they know best and just try and go path of least resistance to get themselves over the line?
I think probably they'll stick to what they're good at. Imagine Hidden 1 is most likely a possibility for Peru. I mean, they're not necessarily... Even with me saying it's likely an Arnold carry situation, that goes for pretty much any of the maps, and they're not bad at Hidden, so they can definitely put up some decent scores on that. I would not be too surprised to see them pick into that at some point here. I think DT1 potentially could be a good pick. They could go for any of the free mods. anything that really showcases their prowess. They're definitely a hidden-centric team, and if they can capitalize on that, then I think they have a very good chance of winning the next 2 matches and progressing on to the round of 16 losers bracket stage.
Is going to be DT3.
Yeah. DT3, I think, also makes sense. Any of the DTs, really. They banned DT2, but this is not a speed map, and they also won No Mod 2, for what it's worth. Or actually, yes. No, they didn't. I'm lying. It was still fairly close, regardless. But this is a completely different map in that regard. Very alt-centric oriented.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I'm interested to see who steps in for this one. See if Ukraine can answer back, giving over that breakpoint, or if Peru can make this a match point situation and get themselves one step closer to winning this and getting into the next stage.
Very chill song, honestly. I'm glad this is in the pool.
Yeah, it's a very nice change of pace in terms of you go from these really fast-paced style of charts, and then you get something low-key. You throw the double time on it, but it's still very, on the surface, relaxing to listen to. Once you get into it, I mean, from my perspective, it's ridiculous, but I imagine it throws a nice little dynamic.
It definitely changes things a little bit, you could say. But Ukraine, not necessarily going to be out of their depth too much on a pick like this. Again, the question is going to come down to the overall team consistency and those 3rd and 4th players. Again, we know Arnold is going to show up and show out, but the question is, will Arnold get the support they need?
Yeah, we see that happen already once in this match where, I mean, they had that double S performance and still gave the point over, and that being the 1 point that Ukraine has managed to get in this match. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of questions to be answered, but it feels like Peru has had most of the answers in this match so far as we get this next map underway here.
See Kotsik coming in, as well as Dench, not too surprising. Gardevoir coming in on the Peruvian side, I believe the first time we've seen him this match.
Indeed, and it's going to be a very quick one after DT is applied, just over 2 minutes.
Things stand pretty reasonable starts for everybody. Gardevoir finding the first drop in the lobby, gonna put a tiny bit of a damper on that advance that they had been putting on the Peruvian side, and actually gonna start bleeding over this lead over to the Ukrainians. All 4 FCs still on the table for them as they can start to stretch their advantage here into the next third of the map.
Oh, but then Mr. McCarthy traded.
We're trying to talk over each other, but we need to stop doing this. Pra is well missing. It's an utter collapse from Peru. Meanwhile, Ukraine's still holding on to a triple FC. Just Arnold on the side of Peru.
And now only 2 full combos remaining on the side of Ukraine, but it's enough to get the job done. Arnold now lacking some supporting combo, and that is making the difference.
I mean, it's alluding to the fact you guys were making before this map started. It's like, we know that Arnold's capable of doing this. It's just, do they have the supporting score to withstand the onslaught from the Ukrainians? And again, we saw it happen on that earlier Nomad pick. It's happening again on DT3 on their pick, and going to be capitulating this one unless something major happens in this final 8th. A very strong performance from Roma to cancel out Arnold's score and making everybody else on Peru try to answer back, but a 3-way miss from the Ukrainians. Gonna start putting a damper on things.
No.
A full combo collapse on their side, only being traded back by Gardevoir here as we swing it back on over to the Peruvians at the 11th hour, and they're gonna make it a match point situation from here.
Wow, you could have not asked for a worse collapse, actually, at the very end. Oh my god. Arnold with the FC.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everyone in Ukraine just broke at the worst time. And it bit them.
Oh, that's wild. That is.
I'm still processing that. That was a crazy collapse. But unfortunately for Ukraine now, they are down to potentially their last point here in the OS World Cup 2025. Peru 1 point away from securing a spot in the lower bracket round of 16.
Or Ukraine here, what do you go for to give yourself the best chance? And it's gonna be hidden one.
Now this is interesting because we were just kind of talking about this being a potential pick for Peru.
I mean, Ukraine isn't bad at hidden. Like we said, they're fairly evenly matched on this. If they can get a run where Arnold doesn't necessarily do the best, then things get a bit dicey, as we just saw there. I mean, DT3 was literally just Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, they had decent combo supporting scores, 300k average, I believe, from the rest of the Peruvian roster, but it was literally just Arnold that pushed them over the edge on that one.
Yeah, so close to being able to overcome that singular threat, but not able to see it through to the end here. Maybe they can find something here, maybe just recover from that collapse on DT3, but as things stand, I mean, Peru looking in a very nice situation, match point situation. A break point to try and close it up, but they still have things they can go into if this doesn't go their way.
Absolutely. I mean, and they're in prime position now. The thing is just to not get content, right? Remember that there's still a job to be done, still one more point needed. And Ukraine, you know, man, tough scenario, but you can only take it 1 point at a time.
Yeah, at the very least, it could be a much worse situation. Usually when it's match point situation, you give over, or when it's match point situation like this, the last thing you want is having it be match point situation on your opponent's pick. So at the very least, they can kind of decide their own fate. And I mean, they've shown flashes where they can hold on to pretty significant leads. It's just being able to see it through to the end here, and closing out some maps will be the main task. There's no room for error for them from this point on if they want to force a tiebreaker from this position onward.
And unfortunately, this is a lot more akin to, I think, the Nomad 4. And the Nomad 4 was Peru's best map by far, so we'll see if they can manage a similar performance with the Hidden 1 here. It doesn't seem like it at the moment. We got trades across the board. Kotsik and McGee trading misses and not having the greatest of accuracies in the beginning.
Yeah, Arnold's opening miss there was indeed Bancho. It registered an opening miss, but you know how Bancho be here, trying to pull us one last time as Ukraine takes a slight lead here.
Yeah, they're relatively tame. No major swings, but that one's going to be another drop from Prague. We're going to wait to see if anything recovers on that side, but Ukraine taking what they can in these situations and stretching their advantage, 67,000 points, and climbing as we cross over into the next third of the map. Two very healthy FCs on their side, being canceled out by Peru. Arnold and Sabe trying to keep FM and Roma in check, and Aroma going to be the next one going down, followed with Kostic, and all the FCs are now gone. Bonner, the only one with any significant combo for the Ukrainians, and Peru going to take full advantage of that and swing things over to their side.
Yeah, Peru holding on to the double FC from Sape and Arnold, the two highest performers on the Hidden 2, doing it once again on the Hidden 1. And the score lead is going to quickly balloon. Not entirely out of control, actually, with that McGee miss.
Yeah, that's going to keep things level, even though Kotsik is going to trade it. McGee had more combo. McGee fighting out of this. Poma follows it up as well. But again, it is Sape and Arnold against Ballner, who has no help aside from 400 combo on Epima. And that is not enough to stop Peru as they approach the final 8 of the map here. Close to closing it out, but massive accuracy drops are going to keep Ukraine still in it. They're not out of the woods just yet. Portugal's life hangs in the balance. The miss comes up from Kotsik, and if there's not another one on Peru, this is going to be it. McGee drops, though.
It might not be enough even at the... Oh my god, what just happened? Bancho's banchoing. What's happening?
What is happening right now? And it is going to go to Ukraine. What is Bancho? So it actually was not where even near as close as... Okay.
That's awesome. We thought Roman broke at the very beginning. No, he didn't. He FC'd. And he has the second highest AC in the lot. What is that? AC from Arnold, actually. My god, that's disgusting. Yeah, double FC for both teams. Ukraine having the better supporting score in Payment with a 600k. Yeah. That was an experience. We love Bancho, everybody.
Yeah. Just reminding you that no matter what the match cost is, Bancho is always the MVP.
True.
That was awesome. I'm so glad we got to... They just added... It's so funny, because at the end of that, like when the match was already done, they just added 50k to Ukraine's score.
Exactly.
It was so funny.
It was going to be like 10k, 20k, and then it ends up at like 75.
It's actually insane. Nonetheless, Ukraine do get another point on the board. They're going to need a break point to solidify things, though. They will have at least one more pick if they can manage to win Peru's next pick here. They have a dwindling map pool to choose from. No more of the hiddens remaining. No more of the gimmicky stuff. I guess the only real gimmicky-oriented map that you could say is Fremod 1, if they want to go for that. Hardrock 1, I guess, kind of fits the bill.
You know, we are 6 maps in this match, and Arnold right now is sitting on a 2.203 match cost with 6 out of 6 MVPs. The next
Fremod
highest
1.
is Poma at a 1.963.
This was the map I was assuming that they would pick, so I'm not too surprised to see this happen. This is the remaining tech map in the pool. Might as well just go for it. Oh, what were we gonna say, Sparky?
No, I was gonna say it just sounds like another day at the office for Arnold.
Pretty much. This is a free mod map. You're gonna need at least one hidden and one hard rock for both of these teams. I believe this was played once against Ukraine. It indeed was against Portugal. They opted to go for a payment on hidden and no one loves on hard rock. Imagine payment probably gonna stay with the hidden, and obviously Arnold's gonna be hidden. There's not really any doubt in my mind about that. It's just mostly who wants to go on the hard rock.
And this is a very high stakes pick here. I mean, look how short this map is. 148 in length on a free mod pick. It's going to be interesting to see how these mods line up.
Yeah, it's a really good point to bring up. Usually in Mania, whenever we have these shorter maps, we always like to allude to the fact that picks like this can really become a double-edged sword, where it's like, yeah, it's a very short map, you get to quick in and quick out, but misses on stuff like this can just be so heavily swingy if they don't go. If you just spike an entire section, you're just capitulating like thousands of points to the other team. I imagine it's exacerbated like tenfold in standard.
Yes, yeah, the score capping factor is definitely turned up at those critical intervals.
Yep, I got all the players in. Let's see what mods opt to go for here. I think we already know the hidden mods. It's mostly looking forward to the hard rocks and who's going to be taking the no mod. There's a pair on the hard rock instead, and it will be Kotsik on the hidden. So overmod actually, Roman on the hidden hard rock as well. I imagine one of the Peruvian players has hard rock as well. It's Sape on the hard rock. It's just unfortunately the client is having the biggest moment of all time right now. There it is.
There it is. There we go. I was going to say, we surely have a hard rock and a slight overmod here from Ukraine. Full send. You love the strategy, right? High risk, high reward, nothing to lose. Of course, Portugal might think otherwise.
Yeah, if you're Portugal watching this, you're hoping for the comeback of all comebacks, but seeing the start from Roma going to be a little shaky in comparison to everybody else in the lobby. The only person finding any breaks early on going to be giving over this 90,000 point lead, but I mean, this one, I imagine it's not going to be over till it's over, and we've seen some wild swings already as we transition into this first TI section. The lead growing for the Peruvians. Kate goes down as well. 2 FCs first out of Ukraine. Pra going to be getting that one back over, but multiple misses from the Ukrainians going to help extend the lead for Peru as we continue on into the back half of the chart here.
Yeah, the overmod not working out for the Ukrainians here, and halfway through the map, I mean, Arnold's still holding on to the 99.8 FC. You have Minky not that far behind, 97% no mod FC. I just think this is already over.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's pretty much GG already. Just, unfortunately, Roma didn't get a good launch, and some of his teammates finding some struggles. Bonner doing everything they can, but you can't run back 600,000, 700,000 points that easily, and Peru, through the fire and the flames, they're going to carry on here, get the win, 5-2 in group stages. They will advance, and that is going to close out our group stage this year. Unfortunate commiserations to Ukraine and as well as Portugal. Valiant effort, but GG.
And with that, Peru becomes the lowest seed in any OWC ever to qualify for round of 16. Number 39, the second lowest seed, manages to scrape by and qualify to the next stage. 5-2. Congratulations to Peru. That's going to solidify all of our round of 16 players. They'll be seen in the losers bracket.
Well done.
Very well done. Very, very exciting times here. And what a way to close things out. It had a little bit of everything in this one, but like you guys were saying, commiserations to Ukraine, commiserations to Portugal. I imagine they were watching with bated breath, hoping for the tiny little glimmer of a chance of Ukraine pulling it out, but Peru going to be number 16 of number 16 in that bracket.
That's gonna do it for the matches this weekend. Going to be getting into... We have one more thing that we have to show you guys, obviously. That's the map pool showcase that happens after the last match of every stage. We're going to not have any more 2 weekend stages anymore. It's all going to be round of 16, quarterfinals, semis, finals, into the grand finals. Back to back to back. No worries about that. But we'll be seeing the map pool showcase, supposedly in roughly 15 minutes, should be happening around 21:30 UTC. That's going to do it for us all in the casting desk, though, that aren't involved with the map pulling tournament. It's been me, Doland, and Sparky. We'll see you guys during the next weekend.
Take care, y'all.
Bye-bye.